And third definition of God is all these put together. In the Bagavad Gita, 11th chapter, we find a description of God. Arjuna wants to know, Bhagavan, what is your real nature? And the Bhagavan become the Vishwarupa Dharaha. He become the all that is there in the universe. So God means all these things put together. And you also part of that. So that kind of an understanding where we all are brothers and sisters. We all belong to the same family. These are different expressions of life. There is no difference between you and I, fundamentally. So all these things put together. And God includes the mountains, the rivers, the oceans, the stars, the flowers, the trees, animals, lion, snakes, cow. So Hindu become very worshipful towards all this. You worship the cow, you worship the snake also. You worship an elephant, worship a mountain, worship a river. Why? Because all these put together is God. Take one thing out of it, then the God suffers. Then Ishvara is not there. So if you want to reach God, you have to accommodate more and more. More accommodation takes you nearer to God. More aversion takes you away from God. This is another understanding. Vishwarupa Dharaha. In that Vishwarupa, we have Arjuna on one side and Duryodhana also. This is very interesting. When Dharmaputra reached heaven with much difficulty, he saw Duryodhana sitting there. He was shocked. I was leading a perfect life and finally I reached there, this guy also sitting there. Because in the total perspective, all these are parts and parcel of the truth, which is very revealing, which makes you calm down. So Bhagavan is all these things put together. Vishwarupa Dharaha Ishvaraha. That's another way of understanding God. And so how many definitions now? God is beyond description. The way to understanding is silence. Those who understood God, they become silent. Second is God's nature is Satchidanandam. Ishvara's nature is Satchidanandam. Third is Ishvara is all these put together. The entire visible universe become parts of Ishvara, limbs of Ishvara. Ashtamurti Dharaha. In Indian tradition, we worship God as one. We have got 8 forms. The Panchabhutas, sun, moon and you. All these put together become Ishvara. Now, the fourth definition of Ishvara is Bhagavan is the creator, sustainer and destroyer of the world. He creates the world. He is the efficient cause of the world. He creates the world, he sustains the world, and then he destroys the world. This is the beauty of God. He creates, and he doesn't get caught up with that creation. He creates the world, he nurtures to a certain maturity, then he starts demolishing the world. This is the difference between Bhagavan and our creation. Our creation creates something when we don't want to give it up. You write a poem, then you print it, frame it, and distribute it to everybody freely. They don't want to read your poem. They have their own poem to give you. So this way, whatever we create, we get attached to that. But Bhagavan creation is, he creates, nurtures it to a certain maturity, then he starts dismantling the thing so that he can create again. So creation is a Leela of Bhagavan. So that's another understanding of God. God is the creator, maintainer or sustainer and the dissolver of the world. And that's how the Jagat Leela, Prapancha Leela keep unfolding and enfolding. And hence Bhagavan also is known as Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvavyapi. We are using all these words without knowing the meaning. Why do you call Ishvara Sarvajnaha? Because he has the capacity to create all, Sarvam. Because he is the Srishta, the creator of all, he is called Sarvajna. And he is Sarva Shaktiman and Sarva Vyabhi. Why he is Sarva Vyabhi? That's a very interesting question. Why Bhagavan? Why do you call Bhagavan Sarva Vyabhi? Because the material for the creation was taken out of Lord himself. From the Lord's, the material for creation. For any creation you need two things, isn't it? What are the two things? An efficient cause and a material cause. For example, a carpenter wants to make a table. He has to have the knowledge of making the table, as well as the wood from which he makes the table. But the carpenter is not the wood. Carpenter has to procure the wood from somebody else. So carpenter is only an efficient cause. The material cause is the wood. So carpenter has to procure the wood. If God is just the efficient cause and not the material cause, then God will have to procure the matter from somewhere else. There will be two gods, isn't it? The other God will say, I am not releasing the material next time. Then this God will be in trouble. So since there is only one God, the God finds the material for the creation out of himself, like Urnanabhi yada Srijade Ghrannade yada Urnanabhi. He finds the material from himself. Since he is the material cause of the universe, he is everywhere. Like the clay is everywhere in the pot. The clay is everywhere in the pot. Similarly, God is everywhere in the creation. Kan kan mein Bhagavan hai. In India we say kan kan mein Bhagavan. In every minute object Bhagavan lives, or he overwhelms and he covers and lives in this every object. So this way God is understood as the material efficient cause of the universe. Abhinna nimitta upadana karana, they will say. God is the abhinna, non-separate, material, efficient cause of the world. This is a radically different view from the Western idea of God. Western idea of God is sitting above the clouds and creates the world, and then he has nothing to do with the world, or he comes down once in a lifetime. Western idea of the world is God is totally different. Our idea of God is in all this. God is all this, God is in all this, and God is beyond all this. This is how we experience God. So how many definitions now? One is pure silence. Second is Satchidanandam. Third is all these things put together. Fourth is the creator, sustainer and destroyer of the world. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karta. And then he is Sarvajnaha, Sarva Shaktiman, Sarva Vyabhihi, another definition of God. Now, the fifth definition of God is Antaryami. You have heard that, must have heard this word. God lives in your heart. God observes everything by living in your heart. There is a very interesting story. God wants to run away from man. Just as you want to run away from your teenage son. A teenage son is a very difficult person, isn't it? So you don't want to even come home, because he makes a lot of noise. The way he sits, the way he eats, he dress, the way his hairstyle, it irritates you. Therefore you want to run away. Similarly, God's creation is man. The roof and crown of God's creation is man. God wants to run away from man. He went to the top of the Himalayas in the Everest, but man reached there also. God went under the ocean, man reached there also. God hid himself in an atom, man split the atom also. Where to hide? Finally, he found a place in man's heart, he says. He is sitting in man's heart. And we never look into our heart. We always look outside. Paranchigani vadana swayambhu. Tasmat parang pashyadinantaratman. We are all the time looking outward. We are extroverted by nature. As a result of that, we are not able to experience God who sits in your own heart. God is Antaryami. Antaha means inside. Yami means controls. God controls all your activities from inside. He is so close to you, but we don't recognize that. So Antaryami is another concept of God. Now there are more understanding. You have to understand God in manifold ways. Ishvara is also known as Karmadhyakshaha, Karma Bhaladada. He is the one who presides over all your activities. You will not be able to lift even a blade of grass without God's blessings. Trinamabhina kampade tasya ichcham vina. So all your activities, intellectual, mental, physical, social, all activities are presided over by Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyade sacharacharam. This is sensitivity. This sensitivity we have to understand. There is something, some deep power in us, presence in us, in the presence of which I am able to undertake all activity. So you feel very grateful. Kritajnata. You feel very grateful. Some power is within me because of which I am able to see, touch, smell, taste, and all these activities are possible because of the presence of that power. So he is called Antaryami. He sits in your heart. So that's why when you sit quietly, close your eyes, quieten your mind, you are able to experience the presence of God. You don't have to go anywhere. You sit wherever you are. Most of the people go to the caves of the Himalayas in search of God. And they come back with the funny notion of God. And why they do that? Yo veda nihidam guhaya. You have to know God in the caves. Where is the cave? Nihidam guhaya. The cave is your heart where thoughts arise. That's the cave. Thoughts arise. Into that cave you have to go. So, for that you need a very meditative state of mind to observe your thoughts. And the hub of your thought is, the central thought is, the pivotal thought is the I thought. So wherever the I thought arises, for that you have to be very calm and quiet. That's the cave we are talking about. So this I thought is an expression or a manifestation from there. So Antaryami Bhagavan. That's another understanding of God. Now we also can understand God as I told you, Karma Bhala, Dada and Karma Adhyakshaha. He is presiding over all our activities. So all our activities belongs to God. That's why Bhagavan says, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savisajin. You have to become a Nimitta, an instrument of my purpose and my mission and my will, the Bhagavan says. So he is Karma Adhyakshaha. Not only is Karma Adhyakshaha, you are able to act because of his presence. He is a Karma Bhala Dada also. He is the one who gives you the fruits of your action. So he decides what you deserve, not what you demand. That's why we have no control over we have already discussed that. You have no control over the outcome of your action. It is God's privilege, special privilege. So whatever God gives or Ishvara gives, we have to accept, then life becomes a very beautiful life. This is another way of understanding God. So how many definitions? First was is pure silence. Second is Satchidanandam. Third is all these things put together. Sarvam idam ghalu Brahma. All these are God. And third is the creator, sustainer, the dissolver of the world. And fifth is he is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvavyapi. Sixth is Antaryami. And seventh is he is the Karma Bhaladhyasha and Karma Baladada. Many definitions of God. Then there is one more understanding of God. God is that power who can manifest into the world and become your friend. The Avatara Ishvara. In no other religion that concept is there. In other religion, God sends his only begotten Son or his only messenger. God himself doesn't come down and be with you whenever you need him. Whenever you need the help and advice and presence of God, just put a message, just put a call. God manifests, he says. God manifests. And I have already quoted the slogan, Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya, glanir bhavati bharata, abhyutthanam adharmasya, tad atmanam sujamiham. We may not know in which form God appears, but God appears when you are in dire need. Like Draupadi puts up her hand and Krishna manifests to help her, or Gajendra, or Dhruva, or Prahlada. These are the living examples of God's manifestation. This is something unique to our tradition. In other tradition, God comes down to help this innocent, simple human being who is just a mote of dust floating in the vast space. And still God has consideration for us. You just call. Like in Ramayana, Shabari. Shabari was an outsider living in the periphery of the community, of the society. Nobody bothered about her, and she is very old and she has no power. But she wanted to invite Rama to her house, and everybody told this is ridiculous. Why should Rama come to your house? You cannot make a donation. You have no vote. You have nothing. Will Rama come to your house? Shabari kept on worshipping Rama, praying to Rama. And one day, to her utter surprise, she found Rama in her house. This is the privilege of the Hindu tradition, that we can call God and He comes down. And when He comes down, He doesn't compromise His infinitude and power. Without compromising that, the Lord can come down Purnama.